The phone rings at 2:47 a.m. You are in a hotel suite in Geneva. The lake outside is black. You answered the phone 40 seconds before it rang. Your body learned the line. The voice on the other end speaks the language of a country that does not today speak to yours. The conversation lasts 91 seconds. By 4:15 a.m., you are on a private aircraft heading east. By 11 a.m., you're sitting across a table from a man whose name appears on no public list. 2 hours of talk. By 9 p.m., two governments who officially cannot acknowledge each other have an agreement. You have no flag, you have 3 passports, you work for everyone, you trust no one. In 1986, the human being doing your job arranged the release of 39 American hostages while technically breaking 6 different laws. The CIA helped him relocate afterward. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how and why. If that work had been done by an actual diplomat, all 39 would still be captive. Welcome to the back channel. The smartest people in international affairs do not work for the State Department. They do not work for the Foreign Office. They do not work for the Quai d'Orsay. They do not work for any government, in fact, because the moment you work for a government, you become an instrument of that government, and instruments cannot be deployed against the parties that own them. The smartest people in international affairs work for themselves, in firms with 3 names on the door and an office in Geneva or Zurich or Singapore. And their clients are governments who pay them in Swiss francs and reimburse their travel through fruit farms in Liechtenstein. Level 1, the lawyer. You are 28. You graduated from Yale Law 4 years ago, top 8th of your class. You speak French at a level that gets you ordered the wrong dish in restaurants in basic Russian, by which you mean you can read a newspaper headline and order a meal. You have spent 4 years at a white shoe firm in New York, billing 1,100 hours a year on M&A deals, of which you have personally drafted approximately none. You have read draft language. You have proposed red lines. You have attended 7 closing dinners at restaurants where the wine bottle costs more than your associate's annual book budget. You are in the language of the firm, developing well. You're also bored. You take a call from a partner you have never met. The partner is in the firm's international group. The partner asks if you would like to fly to London on Friday for a meeting. You say yes. You ask what the meeting is about. The partner says he cannot tell you over the phone. He says it is about a client. He says the client is a country. The country is not the United States. You go to London. The meeting is at a private members club on St. James's Street. There are 6 people at the table. 3 are partners at the firm. 2 are men whose nationality you cannot determine. 1 is a woman who introduces herself by first name only, Eleni. The conversation is in English, but periodically a phrase in another language is exchanged across the table, and one of the men nods and resumes the English. The conversation is about an investment. The investment on its surface is a real estate transaction in central London, a Mayfair townhouse, £23 million. The structure passes through 6 jurisdictions before the money lands in a UK account. You do not know that afternoon what the structure is for. You will in time. After the meeting, Eleni asks you to walk with her. You walk along German Street. She asks about your career. She asks where you went to law school. She asks what languages you speak. You answer. She nods. She gives you her card. The card has a name, an email, and nothing else. No firm, no title. There is, where the phone number would be, an empty space. She says, quote 1, you ask, quote 2, she says, quote 3, you say, quote 4, she says, quote 5, you laugh. You think she is joking about the legal industry. She does not laugh. She watches you not understand. She does not correct you. She shakes your hand. She walks away. You do not call her for 9 months. When you do, it is because your firm has reorganized and your group has been moved under a partner you actively dislike. You are that evening on your second whiskey. You remember the card. You email. She responds within 4 minutes. She is that night in Geneva. She invites you to fly out. She says the firm will reimburse the flight, although she does not specify which firm. You go. Level 2, the boutique consultant. You are 32. You have left the white shoe firm. You have not exactly joined another firm. You have what your tax advisor calls underscore quote underscore 6 underscore A Swiss GmbH pays your Swiss salary. A Cypriot holding company owns the GmbH. A consulting contract between you and the GmbH defines your work and language so general it would, in a different professional context, suggest you do nothing at all. You do not do nothing. You do something specific. You do it on average for 11 clients a year. The number of active engagements at any given moment is closer to 3. The clients are governments, or more precisely, individuals who represent governments, or more precisely still, individuals who do not formally represent governments, but who, when they make a phone call, the government in question takes the call within 4 minutes. A typical engagement, country A has a problem with country B. The problem cannot be discussed openly because country A has, through some combination of historical grievance and current political theater, declared that it does not speak to country B. The problem nonetheless requires resolution because the underlying issue, a frozen asset, a detained citizen, a customs dispute, a misunderstood incident at a border, is creating costs that both countries would prefer not to pay. Officials in A and B both know that resolution is mutually desired. They cannot themselves sit at a table together. If they did, the press in both countries would object, the politicians in both countries would lose face, and the resolution would become impossible precisely because it had become public. You are the table. You sit in Geneva, or in Vienna, or in Singapore, or occasionally in a beach house on Mustique owned by no one in particular. The official from A flies in. The official from B flies in. They arrive on different days. They never see each other. They each have a series of conversations with you. You absorb their positions. You translate, not just linguistically, but conceptually. You take A's framing and convert it into a form that B can accept without humiliation, and vice versa. You propose drafts, you propose adjustments. After 11 days or 6 weeks or 4 months, an arrangement exists. The arrangement is not signed. The arrangement is, in the operational sense, a shared understanding. Country A does a thing, country B does a thing in response. Neither thing is formally connected to the other. The connection exists only in the agreement that neither side will publicly acknowledge. For this, you are paid. The amounts do not appear in your name. The amounts appear in the GmbH against invoices for strategic advisory services. The GmbH pays you a salary. The surplus accumulates in the Cypriot holding company. The holding company holds investments. The investments pay dividends. The dividends pass through a structure that your tax advisor assures you is fully optimized. You are 32. After your first year, you have $1.7 million in offshore accounts. Your father, after 38 years, is a high school principal in Connecticut, retired with $710,000 in his pension in the house. You have, in 12 months, made roughly 2.5 times your father's lifetime accumulation. You also have, for the first time in your life, the specific and durable problem of having no profession that you can describe at a dinner party. You are not a lawyer anymore, technically. You are not a diplomat. You are not a businessman, although the GmbH has the legal structure of a business. When people at parties ask what you do, you say, quote, 10. When they ask what kind, you say underscore, underscore, quote, underscore, 11, underscore, underscore. This produces a small, polite silence, and the conversation moves on. You have practiced this exchange. You are good at it. Level 3, the proxy. You are 38. The work has changed. At 32, you are translating. You absorbed country A's position and converted it for country B. The two positions were mostly real. The two countries actually wanted what they said they wanted. Your job was geometry, finding the path from one stated position to the other through a corridor narrow enough to avoid public exposure, but wide enough for both sides to walk through with their dignity intact. At 38, you are no longer translating. You are constructing. The senior officials who hire you now do not arrive with positions. They arrive with problems. They tell you in private what they would like to happen. They tell you what they cannot afford to be seen wanting. They tell you the maximum acceptable cost. They tell you the minimum acceptable face-saving narrative for the press in case the press finds out, which the press will eventually partially in some incomplete and survivable form. They then ask you to construct a sequence of events that will produce the desired outcome, through a series of intermediate steps that to any external observer will look like coincidence, market forces, or bureaucratic delay. This is harder. This is the part of the work that gets you paid, the amounts that get you paid. You have in your phone 247 contacts. None of the contacts are stored under their real names. The contact, Olive Trees, is the chief of staff to the foreign minister of a G20 nation. The contact, Marco Verde, is a former intelligence officer who currently does private work for two royal families that, on paper, dislike each other. The contact bookkeeper is the senior compliance officer at a major international bank who is occasionally helpful with the question of whether a particular structure will or will not survive a 6-month delay in correspondent banking. None of these people have ever met each other. None of them ever will. You are the only person in their lives who has the full set of contacts in one phone, and the phone is air gapped, and the phone exists in 3 identical copies in 3 jurisdictions, and the master copy is in a safe in a building you own through a Liechtenstein foundation. You have a wife, her name is Maria. You met her in 2012 at a wedding in Lake Como. She's a translator at the United Nations. She speaks 5 languages, Italian, French, English, German, and conversational Mandarin she learned in 18 months for a posting that lasted 3. She knows that you do consulting, she has known for many years that the answer is incomplete. She has chosen, in the precise and adult way of women who have made their peace with very specific men, not to ask. You love her. You are grateful for her. You have on 3 separate occasions considered telling her what you actually do. You have not. You will not. The reason you will not is not that you do not trust her. The reason is that the knowledge once given would change her. She would become, in some small way, the wife of a man who does this. She is not. She is a translator at the UN. The 2 of you have agreed, without ever discussing it, that this is a better life than the one in which she knows. Your work has unintended consequences. You know this. You knew it the first time the consequences appeared. In 2015, an arrangement you constructed between 2 African countries, an exchange of mineral concessions for the release of certain detained persons, went sideways. The release happened, the mineral concessions did not. The country that had expected to receive concessions retaliated quietly against the country that had failed to deliver. 11 people died, none of them were the detained persons you had freed. The deaths were attributed in the press to ethnic tensions. The bodies were found on a road outside a village. The road had been unpaved for 60 years and was scheduled the following month to receive its first asphalt as part of a development grant. The asphalt was poured on schedule. The bodies were buried before the asphalt arrived. The road has been black and smooth since 2016. You did not see the bodies, you saw the photographs. You saw in the photographs that one of the dead was a boy of perhaps 10, lying on his back with his shirt pulled up to his chest, exposing the entry wound between 2 ribs. You did not sleep for a week. You called Eleni. She was in Vienna. You flew. You sat across from her at a coffee shop near the Stephansdom. She listened. When you finished, you might she said, welcome to the level you are now at. The level under it is for people who can still feel responsible. You no longer can. She was wrong. You still could. You did. You learned to do the work anyway. Level 4, the back channel. You are 45. You have in the last decade arranged 17 things that the public has read about, 6 of which the public has read incomplete or inaccurate accounts of, and a number of things the public has not read about and will not. The number is not large. Things at this level are rare. Each takes between 4 months and 3 years. The most recent thing involved 2 countries that, on the day you began the work, were at war. They are not at war now. The peace, when it was announced, was credited to a series of meetings in a 3rd country, mediated by the foreign minister of a 4th country, with the public support of a 5th country and a major international organization. None of those people did the work. The foreign minister of the 4th country was the public face. The work was done by you in private in a series of conversations with 3 individuals, one in each of the warring countries, plus a 4th who was technically a citizen of neither, but had business interests in both. The conversations took 14 months. The agreement was structured so that the announcement could be made in a way that allowed the public face to take credit. The public face does not know the work was not his. He believes he did it. This is a feature, not a flaw. You are paid in arrears. You are paid through structures. You have a specific number in a specific account that represents what you have made over the last decade. You do not look at the number. You looked at it once in 2019 by accident when your accountant printed a summary in front of you. The number caused you to think for several seconds that there had been a clerical error. There had not. The number was $41 million. You stopped looking after that. You have begun in the last 2 years to receive a different kind of phone call. Not from clients, from journalists. The journalists know your name. They know the names of some of the things you have done. They have pieces of information that, if assembled, would destroy your usefulness. They ask, in the polite way good journalists ask, whether you would be willing to talk on background. You always decline. You decline politely. You do not answer their second emails. You sometimes, if the journalist seems particularly competent, make a phone call to an old contact, and the journalist's editor receives 3 days later a different story to chase that is more urgent and just slightly more interesting. The journalist is not threatened. The journalist is rerouted. The journalist's career is in most cases advanced by the rerouting. They never know you have a daughter now. She is 6. She knows that her father travels. She knows that her father loves her. She does not know what her father does. Her mother does not know either, technically. Although Maria has lived with you for 13 years and has a precise sense of the boundaries of her own knowledge, Maria knows what she is willing to know. She knows that you travel. She knows that you make money. She knows that you are kind to her. She knows that you will, in the event that anything happens to you, have left her a complete and legible set of instructions in a Geneva safe deposit box for which she has the second key. You do not call this a marriage of convenience. You call it a marriage. You are correct. You have started in the last year to wake up with your jaw locked. The dentist gives you a mouth guard. The mouth guard does not work. You wake up at 3 a.m. with your tongue against the roof of your mouth and a taste in your mouth like copper. The dentist says it is stress. You agree. You buy a more expensive mouth guard. The taste of copper persists. Level 5. The call between presidents. You are 54. You have this morning made a phone call that 2 heads of state could not make. The call was 3 minutes long. The call was placed from the kitchen of a townhouse you own in London on a phone with a Singapore SIM to a number in a third country that does not exist on any registry. The person who answered was a man whose name appears in a single classified file held by a single intelligence service, and whose presence in any given country at any given time is known to no more than 4 people. The call resolved a question that, if it had not been resolved, would have resulted in a military exchange between 2 major powers within 48 hours. The call was resolved with an offer, a counteroffer, and a third proposal that contained, in carefully ambiguous language, a face-saving formula for both presidents. Both presidents accepted the formula 4 hours later through their normal diplomatic channels, in conversations on the record that were photographed and that produced a joint statement. The joint statement contained 3 sentences. The third sentence was a phrase you suggested. You are not in the joint statement. You will not be in any history book of this incident. The historians of this incident 50 years from now will identify the joint statement as the moment of de-escalation. They will trace the diplomatic genealogy of the third sentence to the fourth country foreign minister, who they will believe originated it. The fourth country foreign minister also believes he originated it. He will until he dies. You have at this moment in your life 4 passports. None list your real birthplace. You have residence in 3 jurisdictions, none of which is the country you were born in. Your tax address is technically a fruit farm in Liechtenstein that you have never visited and that produces on paper between 40 and 60 kilograms of organic apricots per season. Maria has retired. Your daughter is in graduate school at ETH Zurich, studying something theoretical. She is 23. She does not know what you do. She has stopped asking. You think sometimes about the 9 months you did not call Eleni when you were 28. You think about the version of you who did not call. You wonder where he is. He is, you assume, a partner at the white shoe firm now. He's wealthy. In the ordinary way that white shoe partners are wealthy, he has a house in Greenwich. He has children who know where he works. He has possibly a Wikipedia page. He is on balance fine. You do not think about him with regret. You do not think about him with envy. You think about him with the sort of detached curiosity you might extend to a former roommate from college. He is not you. He stopped being a possible version of you the day you flew to Geneva, the fruit farm in Liechtenstein. You go there once. You drive. You did not intend to go. You were in Zurich for a meeting that ended early. The address was in your phone. And the drive was 3 hours. The farm exists. There's a small house. There's a barn. There's a man who tends the apricots, who is paid by a Swiss management company, and who has been told that the owner is a Greek shipping family. He is 62. He's worked on this land since 1989. His name is Hans. He is friendly. He shows you the trees. There are 480 of them planted in 12 rows of 40. He offers you a glass of cold water from a pitcher on a wooden table in the kitchen. You accept. You sit and look out the window at the trees. The trees are real. The apricots are real. The income from the apricots on paper is the income from the apricots. None of the rest is. You realize sitting in this kitchen that you have spent 30 years arranging things so that on paper, certain things are true. The apricots, the advisory firm, the shipping family, the fourth country foreign minister, the press accounts, the textbooks. You have built with your own hands an architecture of public truths, every one of which is a small lie sitting on top of a private accuracy, and the accuracy is the only thing you ever owned. You drink the water, you thank Hans, you drive back to Zurich, you do not return to the farm. A young lawyer at a firm in New York is this evening at a closing dinner. He is 28. He is bored. The wine is too expensive. The conversation is too small. He will, in 3 weeks, take a call from a partner he has never met. The partner will ask him to fly to London on Friday. The lawyer will say yes. Where would the world be without him exactly? The next person sells his country in 20-year increments. He doesn't notice. That was the design. He started by writing the small reports. He ends by signing the large ones. By the time anyone calls him a traitor, he isn't one. He's just a man who long ago stopped recognizing the country he was reporting on as his own. Video number 18 structure C hook type, 8 finale type, 4 finish type, open question zoom out temperature, S author role analytic duration mine 22 word count 4231 series back. Launder moves money in the shadow of the banking system. Fixer moves decisions in the shadow of the political system. Both work where official channels are required not to. Series forward. The next person sells his country in 20-year increments. He doesn't notice. That was the design. Series underscore link underscore form. One content underscore plan underscore ID. 18 publish underscore date. May 9th, 2026 title underscore final. Your life is every level of diplomatic fixer. Hero gender. Male start R location. Hotel suite Geneva final location. Firma Liechtenstein final state. Open question, zoom out sensory marker, voice / phone -- pause shock underscore sensory underscore count :2, staccato underscore blocks underscore count :7 numbers underscore per underscore 1000 underscore words : 12.8 identity underscore flip underscore at underscore second : 26 normal underscore life underscore marker : Jana Maria translator UN plus Deutsch 23 graduate school H level eyes N used true level and direction восходящее then эсэс распылением irony count 4 irony instances. Your clients are governments. Your invoices are in Swiss francs. Your tax address is a fruit farm in Liechtenstein. You have no flag. You have 3 passports. You work for everyone. You trust no one. The historians of this incident 50 years from now will trace the diplomatic genealogy of the 3rd sentence to the 4th country foreign minister who they will believe originated it. He will believe it too, until he dies. You have built with your own hands an architecture of public truths, every one of which is a small lie sitting on top of a private accuracy, and the accuracy is the only thing you ever owned. Shock underscore sensory underscore instances. L3, Africa. One of the dead was a boy of perhaps 10, lying on his back with his shirt pulled up to his chest, exposing the entry wound between 2 ribs. L4, true, jaw / copper. You wake up at 3 a.m. with your tongue against the roof of your mouth and a taste in your mouth like copper. Cases underscore used. Generic Iran Contra 1986 illusion Khashoggi pattern. Thumbnail underscore template T1/T5/T3. Thumbnail underscore BG Chorny /belly /Chorny - split Shindari